The Dallas Cowboys just went head-to-head with the Los Angeles Chargers, and let me tell you, what started as a back-and-forth battle turned into something we didn't want to see in the second half. This was a game where our guys showed up for exactly 2 quarters, and in the NFL, that's just not going to cut it. I'm going to break down what went wrong, where the defense completely fell apart, and why this game tells us everything we need to know about where this team stands right now. What's up, Cowboys? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Cowboys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the America's team. So, the final score was 34-17, and honestly, it wasn't even that close by the end. The Chargers just took over in that second half and never looked back. Walking away from this one, I'm sitting here thinking about how this team showed 2 completely different faces in one game. First half, we looked like we could hang with anybody. Second half, it was like watching a completely different squad out there. Let me start with the offensive side because that's where things actually looked decent early on. Our first drive was absolutely commanding. 10 plays, 79 yards, and we capped it off with a 5-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Flournoy. We were up 7-0, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. We're going to make a statement today. But you know how it goes with this team lately. The Chargers came right back down the field, and Justin Herbert launched one into the end zone to Quentin Johnston, the kid from Temple, Texas, tied it up at 7. We did tack on a field goal late in the first quarter, so we had a little momentum going. Then in the second quarter, things got wild. Herbert was dealing, finding Ladd McConkey wide open after what looked like a complete defensive breakdown. They took the lead for the first time. But Dak Prescott, man, he was on fire in that first half. He hit George Pickens for 38 yards over the top of their defense, and just like that, we retook the lead. Pickens had over 1,000 yards receiving in just the first half. Both him and CeeDee Lamb are now over 1,000 yards on the season, which is huge. But even with all that production, we couldn't hold on to the lead going into halftime. With less than 20 seconds left in the half, Herbert punched it in on a quarterback sneak. We went into the break down 21-17. That second half is where everything just fell apart. The defense couldn't get off the field. We kept the Chargers out of the end zone in the third quarter, but they added 2 field goals, and suddenly it's 27-17 heading into the fourth. Our last real shot came on a 4th and 10. Dak got pressured off the left side, had to roll out and throw up a prayer downfield to Jonathan Mingo. Didn't connect. Turnover on downs. Game basically over right there. The Chargers marched down, and Omarion Hampton, who just came back from injury last week, punched it in. 34-17, and that was pretty much it for Dak and the starters. Joe Milton came in at quarterback and showed off some athleticism, scrambling around, but then had the ball punched out by Derwin James right at the line to gain. Chargers recovered, and that sealed the deal. Both quarterbacks met at midfield after the game, Dak and Herbert shaking hands, but only one of them is going to the playoffs, and it's not us. Now let's talk defense, because this is where I'm really frustrated. We gave up 452 yards of total offense, 152 on the ground, 300 through the air. Herbert was making plays with his legs, making plays with his arms. Receivers were running wide open down the field, making contested catches, doing whatever they wanted. The Chargers scored on all 4 of their first half possessions, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Meanwhile, we had 4 possessions too, but only managed 2 touchdowns and 1 field goal. We were playing catch-up the entire game. The big question everyone's asking is about Matt Eberflus and whether he has job security. Our defense has been at the bottom of the league all season. There's been a lack of communication, guys going to the wrong places, just pure confusion out there. And today, they out-schemed us, plain and simple. Let me break down what happened on one of those touchdowns. They were running cover 2, which means you've got corners responsible for the lower flat on each side, linebackers coming out underneath, and safeties responsible for the deep halves. Sounds good on paper, right? But the Chargers overloaded one side, ran a motion, put a guy right in Trayvon Diggs' face to hold him in his zone, ran another guy at Donovan Wilson to occupy him, and that left a huge gap in the seam. Nobody there. Herbert just drove the ball right into that corner for an easy touchdown. That's getting out-schemed. And speaking of Diggs, he made his return to the secondary today. There was so much speculation about what happened to him. Turns out it was a TV mount pole, one of those big ones that hangs from the ceiling. He was trying to be a handyman, which probably wasn't the best idea. It got listed as a concussion, a knee injury, an ankle injury, all kinds of things. But he said he was proud to be healthy, proud to play every snap, proud to be out there with the guys. The thing is, the secondary didn't play well overall, and that's not all on him. We're playing with Triquise Bridges, with Siobhan Revel Jr., guys who are trying their best but just aren't getting the job done consistently. Without DaRon Bland, without Kalen Carson, these injuries have absolutely ravaged our secondary. Now, there were some bright spots. George Pickens continues to prove he's one of the best receivers in the NFC. The routes he runs, the way he tracks the ball, his catch radius, his yards after catch, the guy's been a monster. Everything we hoped for when we traded for him, he's delivered. He can probably improve in run blocking, but he's been willing. The question now is about his contract and what happens moving forward. Over the last couple weeks, he hadn't been as productive because teams were double covering him, pressing him at the line, and putting a safety over the top. But today, with CD back and getting attention, Pickens found holes in the zone defense and won his one-on-one matchups. When Dak saw single coverage on Pickens, he knew exactly where he was going with the ball. The bottom line here is that we have to play 4 quarters of football. Our offense showed up in the first half in a big way, going blow for blow with the Chargers. But the defense never showed up, and then the offense couldn't finish the game the way they started. The execution just wasn't there consistently on both sides of the ball. And here's another thing. One player makes a difference. Quinnen Williams not being out there today made a huge difference, especially with pressure up the middle. That would have slowed down Herbert running the ball, slowed down those runs up the middle. We need better players, period. Looking ahead, we've got a short week. Washington Commanders on Christmas Day, 1 o'clock start time. These guys are beat up too. They're down several players, but you know what? They've got Dan Quinn. We know him all too well. His teams are going to come out and fight. You can expect nothing different. It's going to be a barn burner, a dogfight from start to finish. What did I learn from this game? That this team can't afford to take quarters off, that our secondary is still a massive problem that needs to be addressed, whether through the draft or free agency, that when guys are healthy and executing, we can move the ball on anybody, but when the execution isn't there, when the communication breaks down, when we're playing with guys who are trying to figure it out on the fly, we're not going to beat playoff teams like the Chargers. This defense has been a bad deal all season. The lack of communication, the lack of health, guys not understanding their assignments. After this season's over, the organization needs to pull out the film, judge each guy on his own merits, and let it fall where it may. Changes are coming to this secondary. That much is clear. We're trying to make a meal with ingredients we didn't plan for, and while guys are doing their best, it's just not enough right now. The Chargers put up 452 total yards, stayed mostly penalty-free, and handled their business. Meanwhile, we're sitting here at another loss, getting ready for a quick turnaround on Thursday. Don't let the Grinch steal Christmas from us. We need to come out against Washington and show we can play a complete game. Because if we keep showing up for just half the game, these last 2 weeks are going to be rough.